kind of do.
Hi, everyone. This is Frances Queller, and I am so happy that today we are able to learn about the life, the education, and the career of Inessa Kondov. She is the founder, the creator, the mastermind, the entrepreneuress behind Bayview Orthodontics, correct? Everything. And she is dedicated and committed to her life as serving families in the practice of orthodontics and a variety of different fields related to improving the health and the wellness of students. You work with many children, right? And we're so excited to learn about what you do, about what led you to your path. And I'm actually really excited because I love interviewing power women. So this is really cool. So I'm going to listen in. And I just want to say that Andrew, thank you so much. We really want to give you a huge thank you for taking this time. I think I should put it out there. You're not being paid. You're not really getting anything. This is really just an opportunity where you're going to share your wisdom. I asked you if you were interested in doing this. Amazing, opportunity where you can speak to really children and to speak to students who are looking to explore the healthcare profession and to kind of learn how you establish yourself in this field. I've been to your office. It's so beautiful. I'm really excited to learn about how you got from A to B to C to D to Z. So without further ado, Inessa, please take over. And I really want to just say, if you guys have any questions, and Andrew, if you're able to, please type any questions that you have in the chat, because we're just so excited about hearing from you. So don't hesitate. Our group is tiny and mighty, so you can ask any questions you want. All right, go right ahead. So tell us about yourself.
Hi, everybody. I am Dr. Inessa Kondov, and right at the beginning of COVID, it's probably the craziest thing anyone could go through. I didn't start out wanting to be an orthodontist when I was a kid. I didn't get it. It was a little bit more of an unorthodox story, but I think it's very important what I have learned over the years. It's very because a lot of people are going to always try to sway you in the direction. And I was guilty of that myself.
I just want to remind everyone, type any questions that you have, please, into the chat. Don't hesitate in the bio. All right. And Inessa, I just want to let you know, if there's an issue with the sound, I might just ask you to do audio from your phone just because it's a little bit going in. Are you using your computer for sounds?
I am. Do you want me to use my?
It's actually, if you don't mind, just disconnect audio and let's just do it that way. This way we just want to get better sound quality. I've noticed from the iPhone, we get better sound. Okay. So I think that's better. All right. And all right. So you would just log in straight to your phone and then you would disconnect audio from the laptop computer. So on the bottom where you have the audio, you would just disconnect from desktop and you would just reconnect through your phone. It should work great that way. So Andrew, we are going to start again just because we were having a little bit of an audio issue, which is unexpected. So we're going to do it one more time. Okay. So give us just a moment. We're just going to reset the audio right now. So the audio is going to come from the phone. We're just working that out right now. Okay. So Inessa, I messaged it to your phone. So hopefully you can just join straight from there. I wondered, do you happen to have a headset? Maybe possibly that could work also.
I'm trying to join.
Okay. So the reason why it's two voices is because you're connected to you want to log out and log in. You can log out of your desktop. It's just that we're just having a little sound issue. Okay, so everyone, let's give it one more minute just so that we get the full opportunity right now. Okay, Anessa's on her phone, so I'm going to ask her to unmute so that we hear her without any issues from her phone. Okay.
Hi, everybody. Can you hear me now?
Yeah, this works much better. Okay. All right, great. So, so do you mind actually repeating what you just said? Just because unfortunately what you were saying was great, but it went in and out. So some of it was muted.
I'm Dr. Anessa Kanda. It's so nice to meet everyone. I started my office in Bayside, Queens, 2 years ago, right at the start of COVID. No one had any idea what was coming, least of all me. It was definitely a trying time in my life, but we got through it. And I've had a little bit of an unorthodox approach to orthodontics. And what I've learned over the years is that it's extremely important to listen to your instincts and to follow your gut, because you're going to have a lot of people along the way who are going to try to steer you in a direction that you might not feel comfortable with. They might want you to become a certain profession. They might want you to go into a certain career because they think, that's the respectable thing to do, or, everybody should have a doctor in the family. But it took me some time to realize what I actually wanted to do with my life. And I think it's really important to follow what you love, because when you love what you do, I think it's very obvious to other people and it makes people excited to come to see you. It doesn't feel like work anymore. Um, so I'm going to just start out with how I started out into ortho. I am the daughter of I am an immigrant myself. I was 6 years old when I came to America, and I'm the youngest in my family. So a lot was always expected of me, which is funny because I really didn't have many people studying with me at any point during my upbringing. Everybody was always busy and working and trying to learn English. And somehow I was really lucky. I ended up with wonderful teachers who always guided me in the right direction. And I went to Russell Sage Junior High School, which is right here in Forest Hills. I loved it. I had the best teachers. And then I went to Townsend Harris High School for my high school degree. And it really kicked my butt. That high school really, really prepared me for college. I didn't appreciate it at the time because I thought it was so hard. I don't think I had a normal high school experience like some of my other friends did, but I think it gave me a wonderful stepping stone into college and graduate school because it really taught me a good work ethic and discipline that I don't think I could have fully have understood had I just gone somewhere else. So I really think it was a really good stepping stone for me. I took a couple of AP courses at Townsend Harris. Back then, they offered a lot less than they do now. And in senior year, they gave us the opportunity, because Townsend Harris is located right on Queens College, they gave us the opportunity to take some classes in Queens College themselves. And if you got an A, you got credit for the classes, which was amazing. I didn't appreciate it at the time, but I ended up going into college with 21 credits. I went to St. John's University with a presidential scholarship, meaning that they paid for me to go to school. And that was very important because, yes, I could have gone into an Ivy League. I could have gotten to NYU. I could have gone to those schools. But I was in a situation where my parents were older. And since I was the daughter of immigrants, I had a very serious conversation with my parents. And my father said to me, I cannot help you in terms of finances. I will not be able to contribute anything towards college. I'm just financially not capable of it. So I really had to think on a financial point of view, and unfortunately, we're always taught you have to go to Ivy League, you have to go to Harvard, you have to go to Yale, you have to go to all these schools. Sometimes you physically can't afford to go to a school that you would love to go to. And I learned over the years that in some professions, especially in medicine, the more important degree is actually from graduate school. It's actually not from college itself. So college is a stepping stone into getting a really great graduate school, medical school, dental school, etc. St. John's was that for me. St. John's gave me the opportunity to thrive and to do well. After Townsend Harris, St. John's was a joke because it was exactly a replica of Townsend Harris. It didn't really challenge me. So I was able to get the good grades and I was able to graduate early because I had credits coming in from high school. And during college, what happens is when you're interested in going into dental school, you have to take a test called the DAT. And the DAT it's kind of like the MCAT, but the only parts that are different is that there's no physics, which is good for me because I hated physics in college. It was my least favorite science course. Just don't tell my physics teachers in the past, but I hated it. I loved biology and chemistry. And there's also another section called perceptual ability. And it's fun. It's kind of like looking at 3D structures from every different possible way, because dentistry is interesting. Dentistry is a combination of science and it's a combination of art. So you really have to be able to perceive things in 3D dimensions. You're not looking at things 2D. And it's truly like a very artistic field. I didn't appreciate it until I got older and I went to dental school, but it really, like, that test is really makes sense. It truly makes sense. So there's a reading section, there's a biology section, there's a general chemistry section, organic chemistry section, math, if I didn't mention it, and perceptual ability. When I went into college, I had this very strong need to please my family. And they all wanted me, they were all pulling me in different directions. One person was saying, become a doctor. It's such a respectable field. Another person was telling me, oh, you should go to pharmacy school because I'm a pharmacist. We can open businesses together. A third person was telling me, go to NYU Stern. You're going to become a businesswoman. You're going to work in investment banking. I listened to a lot of people, and it took me a long time to figure out, no, I think the right thing for me is to be with patients and to work in a patient-centered field. So after the first few years of college, I realized I have to be in either medical school or dental school. The problem is I didn't know anyone in my family who went to dental school, so I had no one to ask for help. I was very lost, and I had a lot of great people who helped me. I was working in an optometry office, and my manager and the doctor that I worked for a few years took me aside and said, Inessa, you're not meant to be in pharmacy. You're not meant to be in business school. You have to go into either medical school or dental school. And I said, but doc, I don't know anyone in dentistry. I have no idea what I'm supposed to do. And they said, don't worry. And they went across the street. There was a dentist working there. They didn't happen to be hiring anyone, but they gave her the card of an oral surgeon in the area that was hiring. And I said, but what if I get the job? Like, I'm going to have to leave your office. And they said, for the sake of you learning what it's all about, you should go and take a step in that direction. So I took their advice. I called the office. They immediately had me come in for an interview. I remember I was 20 or 21 years old. I was so nervous because I didn't know anything about dentistry whatsoever. Imagine trying to make up your mind about a major and you don't understand the first thing about that profession at all. And they hired me that day. And the other optometry office literally just gave me up to this office because they really thought that they wanted me to go into this direction. And in this oral surgery office is when I fell in love with dentistry. I truly fell in love. I thought I was going to become an oral surgeon when I applied into dental school. He held my hand, the oral surgeon. They helped me with recommendations. And one of the most important things I learned was just how important it is to really get yourself out there. I was a very shy child when I was a kid. I kind of forced myself to be less shy. I think I'm naturally still a little shy, but sometimes the way that I present myself, it appears that I'm very extroverted. So I went into Stony Brook Dental School, and I had an amazing experience. Stony Brook was great. It was a state school. It has an excellent reputation. It's clinically very strong. You come out at a very competent dentist, and you go into the first 2 years of dental school, you go into medical school. So you take all medical school classes with the medical students. And it was a wonderful experience. I loved it. Once I graduated from dental school, I actually had my daughter at the end of third year. So when people were applying into specialty, I wasn't thinking about that. Most people in dental school apply into specialty at the end of third year. Because I gave birth to my daughter, it wasn't on my mind. My thoughts were elsewhere. They were on my child. And I wouldn't take that back because I think it made me a better orthodontist for it. Most people, when they graduate from dental school and they want to go into orthodontics, they usually go straight into orthodontics after graduating from dental school. So college is 4 years, dental school is for 4 years, and then orthodontics, depending on the program you get into, can be anywhere from 2 to 3 years. And then you can most of the time graduate at around 29 years old. So you're pretty much going straight through college and all of your degrees, and you're done by around 29, give or take a year or two. Mine was a little bit different in the sense that I graduated dental school and I became a general dentist. In order to become a general dentist in the state of New York, you have to do 1 year general practice residency, or GPR for short. So I went into New York Hospital of Queens, which was right here in the Flushing area. And it was a wonderful experience. I learned how to do crowns, dentures, everything. And I worked as a dentist for 3 years. I had my second daughter, and I realized something was missing in my life. I felt like I had a different calling in life. My husband was a general dentist, and I realized that I don't think the same way that he does. I'm very like OCD about things. I like things to be a certain way. I like things to be perfect. And one day out of the blue, somebody that I had shadowed years earlier, an orthodontist, called me and said, Inessa, I am looking for a general dentist to work in my office, to take off braces and to bond fixed retainers, which are those little wires that go behind the teeth. And I thought of you. I don't trust a hygienist or an assistant to do it. I only trust a general dentist. Are you interested in becoming an orthodontist? I said, Dr. Andretta, I don't really know anything about orthodontics. I wasn't really interested in dental school. She's like, well, you have to come work for me, and you'll see. If you like it, I want you to apply. So I took it. I took a leap of faith and I started working for her. I was a general dentist at the time. I was 29 years old, and I fell in love working with her. She taught me proper mannerism of speaking to patients. It's so important, because I don't think enough is said about customer service, and the way she spoke to patients, the way she treated them. She was just exceptional. She held my hand as I applied into orthodontics. So I got in and I went into Montefiore Medical Center, which is a 3-year program, and it's located in the Bronx, and it's a hospital program. There's 2 types of orthodontic programs you can get into. You can either go into a university type setting, or you can go into a hospital setting. A university setting is where you pay the school to attend, such as Columbia, such as Stony Brook, such as NYU. Yes, they have the name. Then there's hospital programs such as Montefiore or St. Barnabas or Bronx, Lebanon. They might not have as big of a name, but I always really wanted to go into a hospital program. And the reason why was because you get paid by the program, by a hospital program, you get paid to go there. So I pretty much went to my orthodontics program for free. I got paid a few $1,000s extra for just travel expenses, which was wonderful. 2, the reason why I chose a hospital program was because I was already a general dentist. I really just wanted to understand orthodontics as quickly as possible. In a hospital program, you are thrown into an environment where you see a lot of patients, and you're allowed to make mistakes. You're allowed to learn from your mistakes. These are your patients, so you get to treat them from start to finish yourself. It's amazing. You have wonderful mentors to learn from. This is the time you take to learn everything. So I really, really wanted to do that for myself so that I could come out a very competent orthodontist. When you go to a university setting, it's also great. It's great. Financially, it was a little difficult for me because I was in a different boat. I was married. I didn't want to take out another $300,000 of student debt. And with university setting, you also graduate with a master's in public health. In my situation, I wasn't interested in a master's. I know for some people, it really makes a difference. If you're looking into orthodontics and maybe considering one day becoming an academic teaching in a university setting, you might want to go into a university such as Columbia or NYU or Stony Brook in the state of New York. That was not for me. I wanted to just learn orthodontics inside out. I tried everything. I went to every single conference. I was different because I was the oldest orthodontic resident in my class. Everybody else was 25, 26. I was 30. But I'll tell you, it actually made a very big impact because I was able to treat patients in a different mannerism than the kids who just graduated from dental school. you have a little bit of life experience. So my approach to them was very different. I started a lot of cases. I started over 100 cases in my program and finished well over 100 cases. So it really gave me a good foundation for what I was doing in residency. Once I graduated from Montefiore at 33, I decided to work right away for multiple offices. Some of my friends chose to work in one office and work full time in those offices. I didn't want that. I think I always knew subconsciously that I was going to open up my own office. It just didn't quite hit me at the time. I didn't like the idea of working in one office because you only learn one way. You only learn how that doctor likes to place braces. You only learn how that office runs their front desk, how they treat their staff, how the staff work together, how, like, what is the flow? How do the systems work in the office? What insurances do they accept? How many patients are they seeing in a day? Are they seeing Medicaid patients? Or are they not seeing Medicaid patients? So I made the decision to work in multiple offices my first year out. It's crazy. I worked in 5 different offices, and each one was completely different from the next. One office was in Tribeca, very high end, very high end. They were seeing maybe 30 to 50 patients a day. Patients were very high maintenance, very critical about everything. We were doing lingual braces, which are braces behind the teeth. It was very cutting edge, very different type of office. Then the next day I would be going to Woodhaven and I would be working in a Medicaid office, which was like a factory. You're seeing over 100 patients a day, and it's a very different atmosphere. Then I was working in Long Island, where you're seeing about 80 to 90 patients a day. And it's like a nice family oriented office. I think it's very important to really put yourself out there and try different places. It doesn't hurt to try. I think it's important when you're trying to figure out what you want to do with your life to go out there and see and to shadow places. So it's okay to pick up the phone or to go. I personally think it's even better to just go into an office and say, hi, my name is so-and-so. I'm really interested in orthodontics, or I'm really interested in oral surgery or medicine, whatever it is. Would you be interested in having me just shadow for a few days? A lot of times people don't want to pay somebody. So go in for free. Like, it doesn't cost you anything. It just costs you some time. But this is where you learn, what are you good at? What are you not good at? Maybe you think that you love orthodontics, but you might go visit it and say, oh my God, this is so boring. I could never do this. For other people like me, I discovered it later in life. I didn't have braces growing up. My parents couldn't even afford braces, even if I had wanted them. Thank God my teeth were straight to begin with. But I had a very different experience. Most of my friends who became orthodontists, they all had braces when they were kids. They all loved their orthodontist, and they decided that that's what they wanted to do with their lives. My career path was very different. And I think it was so nice that I had the opportunity to work in different offices, because it gave me an idea of what I wanted to do. If I had an office, what would I want in my office? You learn, you pick and choose. You learn in one office, maybe you like the way that they treat their front desk and the way that they treat patients. In another office, you're like, oh, they work very well together. They have a very nice flow. In a third office, you see, okay, they're more digital. They have a scanner. They have 3D printers. They have all sorts of gadgets to make things easier for the office. You pick and choose, and you see what you like and what you don't like. During this time, I attended quite a few conferences. I loved it. I think I'm going to be a lifelong learner. My husband makes jokes that I'm probably going to go into a different specialty after I'm done with ortho, but I'm stopping with ortho. I love ortho so much. I love my field. And I would never have said that graduating at dental school at 26. I just had a very different experience with orthodontics in dental school. I wasn't very interested. They kind of kept it hush hush. Only certain people were selected to be in the orthodontic selective. I was interested in other things. And I guess the key for all of this is there's no one way of getting somewhere. So even though most people took this route, I took a slightly different route. And I think I actually enjoyed my route more because it made me a more well-rounded person. So a few years into working, I realized, I think it's better for me to open up my own office. And I was very lucky in the sense that I had a lot of support around me, including my husband and my family. My husband is a general dentist who works right next door to me. and he's always been extremely supportive. He really wanted me to have my own place. And we built out our office. I don't think you can see it, but it's like it used to be a movie theater. So it's 19 feet up in the sky. So it's very, very high ceilings. This building used to be a movie theater. It's like in the heart of Bayside. So we love this location. The people are so nice in this area. I just felt like my gut was telling me to go here. And there's no other way to explain it. You have to follow your gut. You have to follow your instincts, because only you will know what is right for you. Had I not listened to myself, I think I would have been a very miserable pharmacist right now, doing something that I truly hated, completely hated, because I was trying to please my family. So we built out this office in about 6 months. It took a long time. We had a designer, we had everybody coming in and helping me because I didn't know. And it's okay not to know something. It's okay. I'm still learning so much about business, so much. People who claim to know everything are people who are not very smart, because if you're really learning, and if you're truly love what you do, you're going to be a lifelong learner. And it's okay not to know. It's okay to learn from other people. It's okay to have mentors. I had extremely wonderful mentors who helped me in every aspect of my life. In dental school, in college, in orthodontics residency. I still talk to some of my faculty members from orthodontics residency. I message him. Dr. Nafi and I are like buddies. I message him. If I have a really, really hard case, I talk to him sometimes, and that's okay. In our profession, we all talk to each other, because you're going to come across cases that are like absolutely crazy. You don't know what to do with them. And it's nice to have a second opinion. It's nice to turn to people and know that you're not alone in this profession. And so when we opened this office, I was so excited. I was like, oh my goodness, I'm opening up my own office. I have no idea what I'm doing, but I'm so excited that I'm doing it. I love what I do. I kind of had a vision of what I wanted to do. My husband gave me the opportunity to really, he was just a great support system. He's like, you know what, just do what you think is right. Go for it. I hired my 2 first staff members, and I love them. I followed my gut. I hired based on personality. And they were wonderful. We started training for computers. We got our systems going. 2 weeks later, there was the pandemic shutdown. So I was forced to effectively fire my 2 new staff members. Imagine, just hire them and I had to fire them. And for 6 weeks, we were like sitting at home, nervous, trying to figure out what to do. We came back to work May, June, and we took off from there. And there were so many horrible things that happened during COVID, but one of the most amazing things that happened in dentistry was that dentistry really thrived, especially orthodontics. And the reason why it thrived was because if you remember, even now, like, what are we doing? We're looking on Zoom, we're looking at ourselves, looking at a video, right? So a lot of people started looking at themselves and really, really paying attention to their faces. So plastic surgery started booming. Like, I had quite a few patients who decided to have plastic surgery in the last 2 years on their faces. A lot of jaw surgery, a lot of nose jobs, a lot of just everything, Botox, fillers. Orthodontics happened to go hand in hand with it because people started noticing their smiles. So not only am I seeing quite a few kids, I see kids starting at age 7 and on. I see kids as small as 7, 8 years old, and I see teenagers, but I would say over 50% of my office right now is actually adults. I have patients who are anywhere from their like 20s through early 70s, and we're treating everybody in every single age group. And it doesn't matter if it's Invisalign, it doesn't matter if it's clear braces or behind the teeth braces. People really are paying attention to their faces in ways that they never did before. I don't think anybody paid attention to their faces as much as they're doing now, especially with selfies and especially with like all the Zoom meetings that people were doing. I truly love my field, and I feel like I'm constantly trying to compete with myself. I really try hard not to compete with others because it can play with your mind. Like, and so that's one thing that I would tell all of you guys: don't compete with others, because if you're going to go into any field, whatever it is, truly do it for the right reasons. Do it because you love it. Compete with yourself. Make it better for yourself. You're kind of always going to be in your lane. Other people might take a completely different path. And that's okay. Some people might get there faster, some people might get there later, but the only competitor in your life is yourself. So I'm always competing with myself. I try not to even look to see, when I was opening this office, I didn't even look to see who had an orthodontic office here, because it's a running joke in the state of New York, especially New York City. On every block, you're going to have like 5 dentists, you're going to have multiple specialists, and that's okay. Everybody makes their bread and butter. Everybody sleeps comfortably at night, and it's everybody has enough patients to go around. I based opening up my office based on my heart. I felt like this was a great location. There's a great population here, a great demographic. I even had somebody who looked into the demographics of this area and said that this was a growing area. Quite a few patients who are going to have, quite a few people here who are going to have a lot of young kids who are going to eventually grow up and get braces. But that's kind of like an old school mentality now, because nowadays you're seeing so many adults getting treatment as well. It's no longer, orthodontics is no longer just for kids. That's how it used to be. It used to be just for kids. Adults never did it. And if you think about it, like my mother-in-law was 55 when she got clear braces. She thought she was going to be laughed out of her public school where she worked. And the kids loved it. The kids thought that she was so cool. So having 70-year-olds who are in treatment now, it makes you realize it really, like, age means nothing when it comes to this. It really doesn't matter. They're just doing something to make themselves happy and to feel good about themselves. When your teeth are straight, you are presenting the best image of yourself to the world. And also when teeth are straight, it's much easier to clean your teeth. It's more functional this way. It's easier to have less plaque and tartar buildup on your teeth. So I think it just really adds to the quality of life of the person. In terms of my office, I really wanted to make it fun. I didn't want it to be too kid friendly, because I always had a thought, because I was in general dentistry before, I feel comfortable with adults. I feel comfortable with teenagers. I feel comfortable with not just kids. I can see all different age groups. I don't want it to be too kid friendly. So like my office has a lot of blues and a lot of, it's fun. Like we have a candy bar in the office. It's at the end of treatment, because I don't want any dentist to get upset with me. Why am I causing a cavity? But we want things to be fun in the office. I never want it to be too serious. When patients walk in, we're immediately greeting them with a big smile. We want them to feel comfortable and safe in the office. So we do everything in the office to make it more digital. We offer Invisalign treatments, which are clear aligners on your teeth, and they're 3D designed for your mouth. We offer clear braces, and I'm trying to become more of a digital office. So now I am using a system called LifeForce, which is 3D printed brackets that are clear, and it's more efficient. So you see the patient less and you finish faster. We also do Embrace, which are behind the teeth braces, and they're completely custom designed to the patient, and you can floss normally. We do Zoom bleaching, which Francis had the opportunity to do so today. So that whitens your teeth.
Everyone, you guys will see a demo of my bleach teeth. I did it earlier today.
Great.
Okay,
and
go ahead.
we really like, we do metal braces, which is like the standard, what everybody is used to seeing. We do expanders, lots of different space maintainers, everything. But we ended up getting, recently we got a 3D printer. I love technology, and I sometimes get nervous trying something new, but then you realize it's nice. It's okay to learn. So I have quite a few friends, we talk to each other. I still go to conferences. Even during COVID, I was doing virtual conferences. I went to a conference last year in Arizona because I had a patient who really wanted to fix her gummy smile. When she would smile, you would see a lot of her gum showing, and it caused her extreme anxiety. She hated smiling. She would literally just smile like this, and that was it. And she begged me. She's like, "Can you please go to this conference?" I couldn't believe it. My patient actually begged me to go to this conference so I could learn how to do gummy smile makeover. In the past, patients who would have a very big gummy smile, they would have jaw surgery to fix their gummy smiles. So nowadays, there is a different technique where you use like little mini implants with braces or Invisalign to effectively get rid of the gummy smile. And thank this patient, I ended up going to my first real conference in like over 2 years, and it was wonderful. And we're pretty much finishing up with her, and she looks amazing. This is a person who never liked to smile. Now she's always smiling because she's so happy. So you never really stop learning. Like, I didn't learn this in residency. I didn't learn about gummy smile makeover and fixing it with just braces or Invisalign. Nobody taught that to me. But because sometimes you have wonderful new innovations that are set in front of you, it's nice to take advantage of them and to learn. You never stop learning. I'm 37 now. There's so much that I don't know. There's so much that I want to learn. And I can't wait to keep experimenting and like really pushing the envelope. I'm really big on social media. I love social media. I think that's a really nice way of connecting with people. I love Instagram. We became very big on TikTok. We just actually today passed 100,000 followers, which was really like amazing. People really, we live in a world now where everything is digital. Everything is on social media. In the past, if you wanted to have patients, you had to go visit general dentist offices. You had to buy everyone lunch. You had to go and really, really try to make these dentists love you. Nowadays, it's a little different. Nobody's really referring anyone to anyone anymore. Everybody kind of wants to keep everything to themselves, and it's understandable. It's a different world than 20, 30 years ago. Nowadays, a lot of patients find you directly. You're actually advertising directly to the patient. So whether it's Google, and I put a lot of marketing into Google, or Yelp, if somebody comes in from Yelp, they already know 100% that they want to get started. They've already researched you up and down. As soon as they walk in, they're ready to sign the down payment. They are ready to get started because that patient has completely investigated you. They got on your website. They've looked at all of your reviews. They know everything about you more than you know about you. So it's just a different type of patient that you're going to get from Yelp. I've had a few patients come to me from TikTok, from places that are far, like well over an hour away in Brooklyn. They're willing to travel past multiple orthodontic offices to come here because they feel comfortable with us. They've seen our videos. They feel like they already know us. They feel like they already know our team. They know me. And that's exactly what you're trying to get. On Instagram, it's the same thing. I'm always talking. And sometimes I sit there and I think, who am I talking to? Like, I don't even know who I'm speaking to. Hopefully I'm getting through. But then you come across people and they call and they say, well, how do we find you? And they'll say Instagram or Facebook. And it's like mind blowing that this is the way that it is nowadays. This is how it works now. And then eventually it becomes word of mouth. But social media has completely changed everything when it comes to advertising and marketing. It's no longer about going to different offices. It's really about marketing yourself to your patients directly, to your future prospective patients. And I think patients are not, I think people in general are very smart. They know who they feel comfortable with and who they don't. You don't want to, I would never want to go to an office where people look miserable and are serious and, are stern. I wouldn't want that. I didn't have that kind of dentist growing up. I had a very fun dentist growing up. Maybe that's why I always liked dentistry. So when people come to our office, we want it to be fun. We always have like some kind of giveaway or something fun. Last year we did, in the summertime, we had an ice cream truck fair. Everybody, it was like the end of school. For like a few hours, we had the ice cream truck going. Everybody got free ice cream and we were giving away like pop sockets. It's fun to do it this way. I think it's important not to take yourself too seriously and to enjoy what you're doing, because then it doesn't feel like you're actively working. And trust me, I'm always working. I didn't believe that, but when you have your own office, it's like your child. I have two daughters at home who are 12, almost 12 and 8. This is like my third child. This is truly like my third child. I'm always thinking about this office. I'm always thinking about a new idea. I always have some crazy idea in my head. Somehow my husband always like laughs at me, but he's like, yeah, just go do it. Like, it's okay. All the money that I made in my first year, I pretty much all of it, I reinvested back into my office. I visited a lot of other orthodontic offices. I saw what I liked. I saw what I didn't like. I think I visited well over 10 offices while I was in residency, and even after I graduated from residency. And it gave me such a good idea of who I wanted to be when I started my own office. What kind of office did I want to run? Did I want to have a Medicaid mill type office? Did I want to have a high-end private office? I kind of wanted somewhere in the middle, but I wanted my office to be a little bit more upscale, but not like, not to the point where it's mean, like a happy office but I wanted it to be really high quality and just always friendly. It's very important to me. Customer service is number one to me. To me, nothing else matters. That's like the very first thing. That's the first impression you make with someone. So it's very important to truly have a connection, rapport with the future patient that you build, and making sure from the moment the person walks through the door, your secretary, your assistant, everybody's is greeting them with a smile on their face, because it makes you happy. It makes you excited to come in for your adjustment. It makes you excited to see your treatment. We take a lot of photos in the office. I take quite a few photos on patients during treatment, and I love to show them. I like to educate my patient. Look at where we started. This is where we are a few months in. So roughly every 3 to 4 months, I take new photos. I don't have to, I want to, because I want to educate the patient and I want them to see all their changes. They sometimes forget how far they've come because they're looking at like little things, and they're not looking at the individual, at the general picture. So when they see it, they're like in shock. There's nothing like it. It's not instant gratification because you're treating a patient 6 months, a year, 18 months, sometimes 2 years, depending on what kind of case it is. But it is so gratifying to see a patient when you take off their bracelet, when you take off their Invisalign, whether you do anything on them, to see them and to see them smiling. Sometimes patients cry because it's such a big change for them. I love what I do. Did I know what I wanted to do when I was 18? Absolutely not. I had no idea. Did I know what I wanted to do at 22 to become an orthodontist? Nope, I had no idea. And that's okay. Even at 26, I had no idea. At 29, I made a decision that I wanted to become an orthodontist. And people laughed at me and said, oh, why would you possibly give up general dentistry to become an orthodontist? You don't listen to other people. You listen to yourself. It's very important you listen to yourself. I'm so grateful I didn't listen to other people and I listened to myself. And I am laughing to myself now because I say, thank goodness I listened to myself, because I actually enjoy what I do. I run to work every day because I'm always curious, like, what can I do today that was different than yesterday? If you don't like what you do, you're going to be miserable, absolutely miserable. You don't want that. It's truly important. I think especially now, I realize how important it is to be in a health field, in the health sciences, because a lot of things change with each generation, but one thing doesn't change. People are always going to need the doctor. People are always going to need the dentist. These are things that are not going to change. People are always going to want to make themselves prettier in some way, right? I mean, it's also obviously functional. You want to have a good bite. You want to be able to clean your teeth properly. You want to be able to have no plaque and tartar buildup. But ultimately, you want to feel good about yourself. You want to present the most aesthetic version of yourself to the world, especially living in New York. So these professions are not going to go out of style. They're not. They're here to stay for a long time, because I think in general, all the health sciences are pretty stable fields, and that makes me happy. I like to be in a stable field. I truly love what I do, and I think you can tell. If I didn't love what I did, I wouldn't have stayed here tonight to talk to you guys. I wish I'd had somebody to tell me that it's okay not to know what you want to do. It's okay to experiment. As a side note, I experimented. I didn't know that I wanted to be in dentistry at all for many years. I worked in a law office for a while. I hated it. I volunteered in a pharmacy, hated it. I volunteered in a hospital working there, and I realized I don't think I'm cut out for those crazy residencies. Not sleeping at that time, it was like 24 hours straight, not sleeping. I didn't think I could handle that. I didn't want to go through such an extreme process. And I don't know if I loved medicine that much to be working in a hospital all day long, because it can be very depressing. There was a lot of deaths around me. I saw that and I didn't like that. I worked in an optometry and I realized that's where I discovered that I like patients, but I didn't like that as well. It's trial and error. You have to see what you like and what you don't like. And it's okay to have a long list of things you don't like. Don't be afraid to go out there and pick up the phone, go into an office, ask them, hey, can I come in and just shadow you completely for free? I just want to see what you do. During COVID, it was a little hard because we really couldn't have anybody in the office. People would get very, very nervous. People are now starting to get a little bit more comfortable. But for 2 years, I didn't have anybody shadowing me, nothing, because our patients were very paranoid, and rightfully so. They didn't want to have too many people in the office. So we just kept it as nobody coming in to visit. But in general, my husband used to have people all the time. Every year he had at least 1 or 2 people coming to shadow, and most of them went to dental school afterwards, and some are specializing now. Don't be afraid. You'll never know. Maybe you think you want to be an orthodontist, but you might want to become an oral surgeon instead. Or you think you might want to be a medical doctor, but you might change your mind and become an orthodontist one day. You don't know. And it's okay not to know. I think sometimes we're taught we have to know by age, 18 when we're choosing our college. My biggest advice is listen to your gut. No one's going to know you better than you know yourself. No one. You can listen to everybody's advice, but at the end of the day, take your own advice, see what is right for you. 2, make mentors, meet people, because you never know. Like, people that I randomly met ended up helping me in my career path. I had no idea that I was going to end up needing their help. Be nice. Number 3, be nice to people, because again, the world is very small. You never know if somebody's going to come back and you're going to need their help one day in the future. So don't be nasty to anyone, because it's going to sting if they're not going to help you in the future when you need it. And 4, just make as many connections as possible. Get out there. Don't be shy. If you are shy, try really hard to keep it down and still go out there and try to get different jobs, even if they're non-paying. It makes it look good on your resume. It makes it look good when you're applying into dental school. You want to show them that you really care. You want to show them that you're truly interested. Some people do research. I wasn't very big on research, but research definitely makes an imprint. But I was always more of a clinical doctor. I wanted to be clinical. I wanted to get the job done right and done it well. So I was not interested in academics in my future. I wanted to be more of my own, I guess, entrepreneur. And financially, I saved a lot of money over the years because I went to St. John's. I saved money there. Stony Brook was at state school, so it was significantly less than NYU and Columbia. Even though it doesn't have the same name as NYU and Columbia, it's actually in dentistry. It's considered one of the top schools in the country to go to. And then when I went to Montefiore Medical Center, because it was a hospital program, they paid me to go to school, which is amazing. So while most of my friends right now are struggling to pay off their debt, I paid off all my debt by the time I was 30 years old. I had like $160,000 of student loans, and that was for living expenses. That wasn't even just for academic. So I have some friends who have $500,000, $700,000 in debt. It's like mind blowing to me because they went to the top schools, and I get it. Sometimes you might want to do that. For me, it didn't matter. I just wanted to become an orthodontist as quickly as possible once I made up my mind. And I wanted to have it cost as little as possible because I knew I was going to spend a lot of money building out my office. Building out an office is very expensive. So there's a lot of hidden loans coming your way, hidden expenses. So you really want to be smart with where you go to school and where you spend your money, because you're going to be paying it for a very, very long time. The worst thing you can do is tie yourself down with student debt because it sucks. You're going to be paying for many years. I have a lot of my friends who are going to be paying for the next 30 years. So it's a couple of $1,000s a month. Every single month it's taken out of your paycheck. So it's just something to keep in mind. And if you have any questions at all, you can always feel free to reach out to me. And I'm here for everybody because I didn't have that when I was younger. I didn't really know who to turn to. I think it's wonderful that Francis is doing this for different fields and different careers, because I wish I had this when I was your age. I really do. I wish I had this. It would have made it a little bit easier. It would have made me feel better knowing that I was not the only one who didn't know what I wanted to do with my life. You hate those people who at age 7 know that they want to become this and this and this. I mean, I really hate them, but my husband knew he wanted to be a general dentist at age 7 when he pulled out his own tooth and he liked it. And he told everybody, I'm going to be a general dentist when I grow up. And everyone laughed, but he ended up becoming a general dentist. I had a slightly different career path, and I'm so happy I did because it's helping me so much in my field now. So no matter what you do, you have people who you can turn to for advice. Don't be afraid or embarrassed to ask for it. We're always
much. Everyone, I just want to take a moment to say thank you to every person who's listening, and especially Anessa. I'd love to take everyone, I always do this at the end of the webinar. Everyone, I'm going to ask you to unmute yourselves. We're going to count to 3, and we're going to say thank you to our guest speaker. So on the count of 3, I'm just going to ask you to unmute yourselves, and we're going to say thank you. And let me see. Ask to unmute. I hope I'm doing this all correctly. Am I doing this correctly? I hope, guys. All right. So if everyone can just unmute yourselves. Okay. I'm sending you the unmute request right now. Okay. I'm doing it. So everyone, I'm going to count to 3. Okay. And I'm taking this opportunity. We're all going to say thank you. So we're going to do this. Ready? 1, 2, 3. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Thank you for this amazing webinar, for this amazing workshop. We learned so much, and this is such an inspiration for me and for you, and it's really amazing. I'm really thankful that from all the tutoring centers I saw, there were so many next to you that you chose Queller Prep. We are definitely out of your way, and you have places around the corner, so I was really flattered. I went today. Check out my teeth, everyone. Okay, so I'm very excited that, I got to go today. It was just a, conversation to check in. And then, Anessa, thank you for offering me the Zoom Women's Day special, which I thought was really cool. So I got $100 off, everyone. So I'm letting you know that she's running a promotion this week. I'm really excited that you took an entrepreneurial path, and I'm just beyond grateful that you hosted the webinar. Thank you. Thank you so much. Everyone, let's type thank you into the chat. All right, everyone, let's say thank you. Okay, thank you. Thank you so much. Let's write thank you in the chat, everyone. Okay. Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you, everyone. This was really, really informative and special. It means so much. Okay. Thank you.
Any questions and wants to reach out to me, you absolutely can. My email address is inessa.candav@gmail.com. And you can feel free to reach out to me. I'm on Instagram, Bayview Ortho NY. I'm very active on social media. You can email me anytime you like. I can answer questions for you. I hope to do what I wish I'd had when I was younger. So please just, if you ever need any help, I'm here.
Thank you. Thank you so much. All right, everyone. Have a great evening. Thanks for listening. Bye, everyone. Bye-bye.